broadcasting live out of a basement in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned into Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core. So some have described my next musical guests as a supergroup, comprised of Jason Lemke, Bill Grasley, Walt, Hamburger, and Amos Pitsch. They released a self-titled album in 2018 called Car City. I'd like to welcome Car City to Fox Cities Core on Code Zero Radio. How are you guys doing?
Good. Oh.
Very enthusiastic today.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for the listeners for sticking around for a while. We had some technical difficulties.
Thank you, listeners.
Should be good to go now. Is this the first interview you guys have done together collectively as a group?
Yes. Very exclusive.
It is.
I thought we were going to discuss these answers.
We should have.
Yeah, this is the first thing we've done outside of my house. Really.
No, we've eaten a lot of food.
Yeah, we've eaten a lot of food, yeah.
We've eaten.
So, you put out the first album in 2018. How did that whole process get started? What made you guys decide to get together and do an album?
Well, it kind of, I think it organically came together as we talked about it. I had a bunch of songs, and I was talking to Walt because we were performing together off and on, and I was saying, hey, I'd like to record some stuff, and I had heard that Amos was starting a studio. So, and I don't remember because you had come to play a show and sat in with us, if you remember right. It was like a benefit for I remember we all had cat shirts on.
Okay.
And you played a couple songs with us.
Okay.
But anyway, as after that is when I said,
did
hey.
you play the Hamburger Anthem with us?
Yes.
Yeah, drums, yeah.
Yeah. So it was after that. I was like, hey, what do you think?
Riverview Gardens.
So we settle on a day.
Yeah, about that.
And, going over there with a few songs and just kind of, we don't know what this is going to be like, just kind of checking out the studio.
We didn't know if it'd be like just an acoustic record or full band or anything. Yeah. We didn't even hear the songs. We didn't really know what we were getting into at all.
I don't know. I think we all just kind of felt like jamming.
Well, then Winston Zedmore was just seeing the studio with me, and you just told him to play bass, right? And then he was the bass player.
Pretty much, yeah. I just showed up. It was the first time I had actually been at Crutch Memory. I was going to go over there at a different time. Just I had a friend recording, and then didn't pan out. And then I ran into Walt. He was going over, and then
I was going over there.
It just turned out to be. He was like, "Here, you're playing bass on this now," and I was like, "Okay,
well, yeah, I
sounds
think we were
good."
kind of like we were sort of feeling out the song, and you were there.
And you said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Bill's coming over." I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you play instruments.
Yeah. I mean, I think the story really starts because Jason was in a band called 88 Miles Per Hour when I was in high school.
I was not in high school, but I will back up the fact that other Amos here was in a band called 88 Miles Per Hour. And that's really where the story starts.
That's where it starts, yeah.
So you're all a fan of this band.
Yeah, 88 Miles Per Hour
I don't know
great.
if Bill's ever heard 88 Miles Per Hour, but I am a fan of it for sure. In fact, I signed them to an exclusive one-album deal to My Brother Stole My Records.
That's right.
Back in the 2000s.
So you guys are just hanging out, and then organically you start working on one of Jason's songs, and then you decide, well, maybe we can make a full album out of this.
Yeah, Jason's songs are really good. And I think it was like, I don't know, you've been probably had those songs, some of them for like 10, 15 years. The last project you and I had worked on together officially, other than him just helping me out with my solo stuff, was Obvious Man Hands / 1, 2, 3 Jesus, which was this other supergroup we had back in the day. And so you had these songs like ready to go, and we were all, I think, to speak for all of us here, we were all impressed with the songwriting right off the bat. We didn't do a lot of changing to the
Have you
songs.
heard Obvious Man Hands?
I haven't heard the music, but I know we've talked about it before, which it sounds like a project I'd want to hear.
Yeah, Justin recorded that stuff.
Yeah, it was basically a rebound band for all of us. Like, we had all broken up with our bands. Like, Tim was done with Obsoletes and Yesterday's Kids, Tim Schwogler, and Amos was well, I was going to get Amos kicked out of Social Classics. He was just starting this little project about little apartment buildings. What's it called? Tenement. I think. Jason was getting kicked out of his band, 88 Miles Per Hour, and my band, the Hamburgers, was breaking up, and so we mostly practiced, right? Like, because you had your first kid, so it would be like
something like this.
There was like a whole year where me and you and Tim would get together once a week and just play like yesterday's kid songs and other covers and fun stuff and switch around on who's playing what instrument and stuff. Most fun band ever.
Dude, I lived on that band for like 6 months.
Well, we'd play those Sunday
That's
night Madison shows.
Yeah. That one time I jumped down my entire flight of stairs at my house and just totally fucked up my foot. I had to go to the emergency room, and then the next night I played a show with these guys. Wow. I was on crutches. We played in Manitowoc. Yeah.
Yeah, we were fun. We did like 4-part harmonies, and we would play short sets because I was famous for not that. So we'd like, if we played in Green Bay, we'd like no one would be there yet, and we'd start right on time, and we would play a 20-minute set, and then like the booker would look at us and be like, "You can play more," and we'd be like, "No, we're good."
I just remember riding your van like in this late night after the show, and
you always had the longest drive.
Laying in the back, like laying in the back seat. I got shotgun for whatever reason, and then it would be like trying to impart some wisdom to you guys, which I think was
awesome. Tell me more about that.
Bullshit. But
I would like to hear more about that.
This is really funny because it's like we're doing an interview about a band.
A
band no one's heard and no one knows.
Anyway,
we had such good time.
We changed our name to 123 Jesus at the end.
We've got a comment from the legendary King of Country boy Howdy.
Oh, yes.
He wanted to know, he asks, when are we going to hear these guys live at Tom's Drive-In?
Whoa.
Inside baseball from Boy Howdy.
Would you guys play at Tom's Drive-In?
Can we announce it now?
If they go veggie?
Well, we have a show there coming up next week, Tuesday.
We're not allowed, but...
Should we announce it now?
I don't know how he found out about that.
We did do the one show, I remember, with Obsoletes and you guys. And
well, the Hamburgers was sponsored by Tom's Drive-In, which is what I think he's making fun of right now.
I don't think Boy Howdy's making fun of anything. I think he's just
Mr. Boy Howdy.
Probably
Congratulations, though.
Probably not anytime soon is the answer.
Yeah, that's exciting.
What are we clapping for?
The viewer has had a child.
Nice.
Well, let's talk again about Car City. So you guys weren't expecting to do a full-length album when...
We didn't know what to expect.
And then all of a sudden, things just start coming together. Jason is going to the well to get more songs. And then you end up at 9.
Well, we had 10 masterpieces overall, but one of them...
Wait, we only had 9 songs on that record?
Yeah,
oh, right,
because of the 10th song, I Want to Be C.
Yeah.
The world just wasn't ready for it yet.
It was 11.
But there was 11?
Yeah.
What was the other one we cut?
It was just a other thing you didn't like. But
I didn't like? You're blaming this on me?
I don't know.
I liked They Want to Be C.
Great.
Anyway.
But it was hard, okay, back then... I was touring a little bit, but you were the busiest, I think, because you, like...
I didn't live here. That was probably
Did you not live here right when it started, or did you move shortly after?
Yeah, it was sort of back and forth at that point.
Because you were in Nashville.
I would spend like 2 months there maybe, and then come back for a couple of weeks or something.
We kind of just recorded when he was home, which had to be hard just to fit us in. But it was always fun, right? Like, when we got together...
Yeah, I think
we
that's what it was. We laughed a lot.
Yeah.
And we ate food.
Yeah, and
snacks.
we would get like 2 songs done in like 4 hours. I mean, we would re-record certain parts later and do the vocals. Those were just scratch. But I mean, we'd get the basic song down, both of them. So we must have done it like 4 or 5 times.
And then Walt would make Jason buy us food.
I would suggest.
I was happy.
I tried to pay for Bill's coffee today, but...
It's true.
Jason, did you have more of an iron fist when everybody's working on the songs because they're your songs? So
yeah.
No.
That sounds like Jason.
Not at all, actually. No, I was actually really excited. They weren't finished songs anyway, so it was like these are ideas and just basic arrangements and some words. And I was just really happy to see what these guys would add to it, and this production team here.
Yeah, we kind of, so I loved doing mostly solo stuff now. It was really fun for me to do stuff with other people. Like Bill would just have a bass line, a good one, like just not complicated but interesting, over and over and over again, like right away. And then I would yell at Amos to do an intro or an outro differently, and then you guys just kind of left us for like 2 or 3 months alone together.
Yeah, and then we gained a lot of weight.
We gained a lot of weight.
I gained like 20 pounds over the course of mixing, and then I lost it afterwards.
Well, it really came.
And that is not exaggerating. I'm 100% serious.
You had to go to the hospital
Not then.
because of Car City.
No. But I did gain that much weight and lost it after.
Was it the
I
donuts?
wasn't doing this with Walt every night.
Was it stress or was it food?
It was food. We were
the
literally
opposite of
eating.
stress.
We had like all these.
Like we were
had all
addicted
this
to
candy.
drugs, but it was chocolate. And
Yeah, we had these like chocolates that were in the shape of the words dusk.
Yeah.
And we had like a bunch of them. We were
Talk
just
about,
eating.
first of all, name drop, Dusk.
Yeah.
I remember those.
Yeah.
There would just be like pieces of
I
them
still
left,
have
or there'd
one.
just be like a DU or like an SK left over. Like, what are these? Like,
Can't
so
imagine if
good.
that one I have is still good.
And then we go get the good cake.
Oh, the good cake. You would get the good cake.
Then I
I would get the good cake. And we're doing the inside baseball stuff again. Basically, Bill was Jason's guy.
Yeah.
So Bill
with that.
Bill did play bass on most of the album except for 2 songs that Tim Beekler played bass on. How did Tim get involved on those 2 songs?
Amos?
Wait, what?
I'll tell you what happened.
Sorry.
One day we came over and Bill wasn't available and Tim was there.
Yeah. I think we had.
You
Because
invited
like we
him.
were doing them in
Oh.
kind of pairs, right? Like we'd do like
Yeah.
2 or 3 tops every time, I think.
And by
but
that
I just
point-
wasn't around, and then it was.
We kind of figured we had like a full record, and so we were going to do the one obvious Man Hand song, Don't Give Up on Love. And we had one more that was, what's the other one, track 5?
Hangman.
Hangman, yeah.
But what we didn't talk about too is that we had someone offer to put the record out for us.
Oh, yeah, we did. That was
so there was
fucking weird.
there was a little
Oh,
bit of
fuck.
pressure there, I think, to
it
finish
twice.
it. So then, because Bill wasn't around,
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
had-
Amos was like, hey, I Tim, I know has been looking to do some stuff.
Tim did great.
He might be interested to come in. And we're like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
He was very excited about
So,
it. He was what band? What's the country band he does? Grand Union.
Yeah, Grand Union.
So like that's not original music, right? And he really loved playing original stuff, and he loves power pop
Yeah, well,
because
Tim,
he had toured with you and
Yeah, that's how I met Tim. Was touring with the Nerves.
and so he came in one day, and then we kind of just decided we'd have 2 bassists for a while because we're not really a band, we're kind of just some guys.
well, and you guys have a good rapport with each other as well, obviously. You can joke around with each other, it seems like, for the most part. Does that make it harder to get stuff done, though, when everybody's being sarcastic?
I'm probably the worst.
yeah, it was.
I'm the distraction.
I think the priority
You
was
3 would be get that.
where are we
that
going to
quick.
eat? Once we figured that out, then we could get down to work.
It's much worse now working.
We gotta
on our,
know where we're gonna eat after, before.
We're working on our 3rd record right now, and it's taking a long time. We've had a lot of food. I don't know if you guys have been to Garden View.
Let's talk about that. So your 3rd album? So do you have a 2nd album that's already in the tank?
Kind of.
He's joking.
Well, we do have a 2nd album that's kind of in the tank.
We might redo it though.
You're joking about the 3rd record.
I don't know if
We
I'm joking.
redid it once.
We still
might
got
redo
one
it
of
again.
BC.
Well, and so you did it once. You're not happy without.
Well, yeah,
turned
we
out.
redid it once basically, and now we.
So we got real. So the first album was a huge success, charting, European tours, South America. Wait, was it South America? No, it was nowhere. We didn't do anything, and so we're like, let's do another one.
I think it's just fun to do. I mean, we have such a good time doing it. And
Yeah, I mean,
laughing and
It really is. I think especially all of it. Like it was the most fun I've ever had making an album.
Yeah,
Like, especially the mixing sessions that we had, because him and I'd get into giggling spats where these two are more professional human beings who have other parts of their life they care about. And
Dude, imagine how much
So we
weight
don't
we would have
experience
gained
joy,
if we hadn't been laughing so much.
I know, but I had like six packs abs. That's probably where the weight came from.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got to work on that part alone mostly because Bill was in Nashville and Jason has a family, so he couldn't come down. I mean, we were doing that like 3-4 nights a week sometimes. Like that was our life for like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get up at 5.
Yeah,
so
and
it's
that's-
like
it's
so it was
an
about
hour
it was
drive each
about
way, you know?
efficiency for me. So hey guys, what do I need to be there for? Or,
So once we got your vocals done, we did a lot of production, which was really fun because Amos owns a studio. So
With Julia Blair.
sure, yes. My point was, because Amos is in the band and owns the studio, there was no like every other album I ever worked on. You have a very strict time schedule. But thanks to Julia, we had a lot more free time. What? How do you want me to phrase this?
You're good.
yeah, so I
great.
would
She's
be,
gonna
you know,
love
the
that part.
I knew they were doing it for a particular night,
What the fuck?
and they would send me the bounces from that night. Say, hey, this is what we overdubbed or whatever.
But we could do like we could spend 4 or 5 hours on a part and just not use it, and that was so fun. I mean, it was agonizing watching him play guitar for that long and then not use it, but it was also fun to have the freedom to be like make actual artistic decisions instead of
Not
like,
use what?
like there was like one guitar part that you did, and then like the next day we're both just like, nah,
Oh, wow.
you know. I don't even remember what song, but or maybe it was just like I Want to Be C. That'll be on our 3rd or 4th record. Classic.
We have. Well, you want to talk about that song?
No, it's just the best song.
It's a song they spent hours and hours and hours on, and then decided.
Amos
Nah.
decided. I liked it.
Oh, really?
I liked it too. But
Yeah,
I don't know if
you
that's
you
true.
said
You're
it.
throwing-
You two.
You are
said,
throwing me under the bus right
I
now.
believe it was you two that said it doesn't sound like a Car City song. The well-defined Car City songs. I will say this: it wasn't in the key of G.
Well, so the first album
Hey!
was a vehicle for Jason's songs. The next album, is that also mostly Jason's songs, or did you guys all contribute for this one, the upcoming unreleased?
It's Jason's
Yeah.
song.
Jason's
So,
band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my stuff, but like I said, like it's just basic arrangements and melodies and some words, and then once it goes into this machine, that's what's fun.
The Machine.
The Bill Machine. It's really early.
We had a question from Ridley. You know,
Oh, good. We're getting the whole gang in.
says a longtime fan, first time commenter. He wonders who has the clay figures from the album cover.
I got
for
'em.
those that might not know.
Yeah, I got them. They all survived except Tim broke in half. But he's still like 2 halves. They're in a box. They're in 2 boxes. I think one has 3, one has 2.
Did they harden over time? Like if they become,
I don't know.
Like I was curious about that.
So I like when we came out with the record, I was doing like promo photos with them with stuff.
And this was the 5 clay-made things.
He
from
made,
the-
who did you make those with?
I didn't make them. My former
Colin?
roommate, Matt Stranger.
Oh, Matt
made
did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you built the backdrop.
Yeah, I made the backdrop. Our friend Yusuke Okada from Brooklyn. Well, he's originally from Japan, but he lives in Brooklyn. He's an artist. He drew us in his style, and then
It's on the promo. You used the heads from the back.
yeah, there's drawings of us on the back that Yusuke actually did for us, and then we had Matt Stranger make the claymation figures out of those drawings.
I was happy that I had something to do with my hands. I had a beer, but I've never owned a pink sweater, so I don't know where that came from. But he got the hair pretty good.
Well-
I thought our likenesses were pretty good on that. I was like, and then the color.
A little zombie-ish, but
Well,
So how did Walt end up with the figures?
he
he was
wanted
gonna
them.
throw them away or recycle them or whatever. And I was just like, that's not garbage. You're garbage.
I think
Well, and you guys had the house in front of Crutch of Memory for a while. That was in the background.
Oh yeah.
So did you have?
We've reused that. That's in my bedroom now. Yeah, we've just reused that for stuff.
Bill's not talking. Have you noticed this? We're going on our dumb stuff now. Jason's interjecting, and Bill's just like, why? This fucking band.
So were you excited when work on the second Car City album started? Or were you like, oh, not another one?
No, it was cool. I think did we get songs to listen to ahead of time this time?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Yeah, you sent us some demos.
I think so, because before it was like the record that we put out, you're hearing like take 3 or 4 of us all ever playing the song for the first time. So it's like that was the one time that some of us, like, no, we all simultaneously got one take essentially. So it was nice to kind of think about it a little bit ahead of time. Try to come up with some more interesting bass parts on my end of things, which was nice to just be able to like have some songs. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that session was so long ago at this point now too.
That's 5 years at least, right?
No, we actually started that in 18.
So
Wait, the album came out in 2018.
Shortly
yeah,
after.
but we started because we were happy. We were all happy back then. Something happened in 2020, and I can't remember what, but it slowed everything down.
It sucks.
You're known primarily as a guitar player, but bass, is that something that just is kind of nice to get out of what you're normally doing? And
Yeah, it's just different. You know, obviously mechanics are all pretty much the same, but it's just different mindset. And I think I was playing in the band I was playing with mostly in Nashville too. I was playing bass for, so I was kind of like doing more bass playing than guitar playing, I feel like, for bands at that time.
Well, we have a great rhythm section. These two, like, who had never played together, like they're the right hand and the right foot. Like I was very impressed with that right away. Like that made it really easy for us because we don't play guitar together very well, and we've been doing it half our lives together. Like our strumming patterns are different, no matter what I do.
Well, the first album is like it's a pop classic. Like the songs, Jason mentioned, you have a simple sort of formula for doing the songs, but then you guys layer over the harmonies, and the songs are all really catchy. And there was a track, Like a Wave, where it's not like an overly complicated guitar solo, but it complements the song so nicely. Like, who's playing? That's Amos doing the guitar?
I do mostly guitar solos.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Really good, like, tone on there. I was never much of like a noticing tone, but lately I've started to listen more.
Oh, nice.
You were doubling. I thought that was pretty cool. He would play this solo twice once he figured it out. So he improvised it, and he finally gets something he'd like, and then he could do it again, which I thought was pretty cool. And it did add this kind of a unique, because every now and then they're going to be, you know, like any doubling thing with vocals, this is just slightly different, like with a bend or anything, but it made it sound really big and cool.
Yeah, most of those solos on that album are like me and Walt sitting in the basement, and me playing the solo like 100 times. Like we would spend
again.
We would no. You would be like pulling your hair out because you wanted me to stop.
Yeah.
And then we would do it all night. Like one solo we'd spend a whole night on a solo.
We wouldn't even use it.
Well, it was interesting too because you like Bill said, three or four takes on some of these, so you're making choices at that point, right? So now you have to live with them later. And we're like, hey, we've got these spaces. Now what are we gonna do?
That's true. Like it was a bit of a, like, I want to say challenge, but not like a bad challenge. Like it was like a fun challenge to try to figure out what he wanted. Sometimes when he wasn't there at the end, because like what's the song where the intro is like a minute? It's all over the place. And so we were doing like solo versus a solo and shit like that. Sorry.
Huh.
It's one of the songs that we did.
Don't Give Up on Love, I think.
No, it's the one after that. Track 7 or... It's one of the bad ones.
Challenger, yeah.
I mean, those tricks all basically come from us listening to like Yesterday's Kids and stuff when we were younger, and the studio tricks that they would do. You know, it rubbed off on us at a certain point, and it's still kind of what I go to with almost everything I record. Those
were classmates of mine, and we really looked up to those records. I mean, they were ahead of their own time, I thought. Like with the Yesterday's Kids stuff, like they were self-producing, and they listened to a lot of classic. And plus, your big thing was what, Teenage Fanclub, Jason? That was the main.
Yeah, I think that was sort of maybe a template. That 90s power pop that I was like, yeah, would really like to do something like that at some point, and these guys were into it. And
that was the reference I used the most. Like, I was a band I wasn't super familiar with before we started
neither,
recording, and then I started listening then. And
if you listen to Teenage Fanclub, Bandwagon-esque, I mean, that was like I wore that out.
Well, and almost the only pre-production, I wouldn't even call it pre-production, like the only, like you said, we do it in 3 or 4 takes. The only kind of changes we would really make before we started recording the basics of the drums and bass with scratch of everything else was intros and outros, or just little like, let's do the chorus this long this time, and just little tiny changes. This is so boring, I bet.
For you.
Well, I mean, like, has any of you heard the record? It's really good, but I don't think anybody
It
heard
is
it.
good. It's really good. I listen to it in the car. I listen to it in the car sometimes, and like,
It's the only record I still like listen to.
dude, I listen to it. I still listen to it over and over again in the car, like driving around.
It's a good car.
It's perfect.
Car City.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this. Car City.
Yeah,
That's actually
the
what a
name.
coincidence that there's also a business
Yeah,
called
so
Car City.
who decided to...
Who came first, you're wondering? The 1940s car dealership with
I
a
think we had a working title when we started.
cold
Started it.
chili.
Cold Chili.
Cold chili.
And then I had a list of names, which I think we
All had a
we had-
listen.
I
We
kinda-
went through names for weeks.
we had narrowed it down, and I think everyone just liked Car City. And
Big Star.
I had Car City. That was my name.
And now, is Car City still open?
Yes, it
I
is.
think so. Yeah.
They,
Yes, it
they
is.
put our record up too. Like they're by the way, we have the best band stickers ever, and we never made stickers because it just looks like people all over Appleton love Car City because they bought their. But it's just that the kind you put on a back. You guys ever seen Cars?
That's how you do it.
And then they put on the back. It says like where you bought the car.
Exactly, Car City. Yeah, they got those silver. It's silver and
it's
black
just a
ones.
bad. We could never top that.
Well, we wouldn't have because those are our stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should just make shirts with that logo.
It just says Car City Appleton, and they're cool. They were so the same person that does my hair, Jessie. Her family owns Car City, and they were like apparently pretty excited about it. And I think Tim was friends with them, so he went over there and gave them some records, and they gave us a bunch of stickers. And
plus, they have that building that's white with the Car City. So, like, hey, that's it.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it's
Did
iconic.
you guys ever do any band photos? I don't recall seeing any where
No.
before you were posing. Like, it seems like that would be a good backdrop for
It
a
does
band
seem
photo.
like that.
do
Amos had a really good. Can I tell him your really good idea you
What
had
was
that
it?
one time?
No, I don't remember.
I
So
think I remember.
there's a billboard right over Car City, like the place, right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
Amos wanted us to buy the billboard for a month and just have was it our heads or was it the album art just over it with no explanation?
Yeah.
We don't have
cool?
any money,
Yeah.
and Jason didn't come through with the finances, but
Yeah.
I really think that would have been
I
great.
think there was a show tie-in with that as well. It would be like the one show.
It's still a possibility we'll play a show someday. The problem is that Amos does the solos and the drums and the keyboard, and he doesn't want to play a show.
He's got a couple other projects going on though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Odd Note.
A couple other endeavors.
So why did you guys are both credited as producers, Amos and Walt? Like,
Oh, really?
Pitchburger Industries.
Oh, wow.
is that you guys were putting in equal producing time, or
Yeah.
Walt,
I
you're
think so.
really
It was
not a
most-
producer,
yeah.
are you?
So it was
No,
mostly
yeah.
it was mostly like
It's my first time. It was
Walt
fun.
was watching a lot of baseball on his phone, and I was.
I got to do two things at once.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed.
But that's why Walt and I work good together. For some reason, it just helps to have a guy talking to me about something completely unrelated,
Honest
making
to
a lot
God,
of sounds.
most people would hate that.
Yeah,
But
and you know,
and I can't stop. I'm doing it right
but
now.
when the moment it comes that like I have to make a really important decision, like when something happens that I'm like, is this good? Walt snaps out of it, and he's got some really valuable input.
I have a pretty good ear for tone too, right? Like for the other stuff's in tune. And I had some ideas. We got in some fights. I cried a few times.
I remember once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amos he's a harsh mistress.
Only to you.
Jason and Bill, do you guys sometimes just sit back and think, I can't believe
Yeah.
that
Yep.
we're working with these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonder to see the process in action, really. But yeah, but it works. So
We would
it's,
like to do. We've been talking about maybe doing another.
But no, yeah,
project someday.
it's great. Like, I mean, I feel like that it worked really well for this project too. And the songs really were mostly done as far as like, I mean, your vocal melodies were so good. Like, it was like I feel like everything was everything was kind of implied. Like where should we go next with some of this stuff? And yeah, but think you can hear the baseball in the mixing. You know what I mean? And I think it really adds something to it. You know.
The way I remember it was, I really like, the bad takes. And so 1 out of 10 of those weird ass things that happens in the studio, he let me keep in there, and that was fun. Oh yeah.
I remember one night you guys sent me a clip of like all my bad vocal takes. They just put them all together, and my weird, awkward things.
Yeah.
I think Jason is a really
We
good.
spent a long time on that too.
Hours.
You gotta understand, when you're in a studio for hours and hours at a time, you can lose your mind a little bit, especially when you're like trying to figure out a specific part of a song. You might listen to Jason sing so like a great rock vocal isolated might sound insane, unless it's Freddie Mercury. Like on its own, it might just be craziness, and sometimes you have to listen to it over and over and over again. So sometimes you make the singer pay, for what he put you through, even though he wasn't there.
Were you afraid that maybe Jason would decide, I don't want to do this anymore?
Every day I think about that, because he plays with me, on my own stuff, and I don't know why he hasn't quit yet.
No, I was really grateful and just blown away that it was happening. So
You
and I
must
think-
have like 50 CDs of, because we would send, you didn't have like a Bluetooth thing in your car at that point, so we'd send you the stuff at night, and then you'd burn a CD and listen to it on the way to work, because he works like 25 minutes or so from his house, so it's pretty perfect every day.
Yeah.
I imagine. But you must have just like a stack.
Probably.
You guys put the self-titled out on vinyl. Why did you guys decide to put it out on vinyl? Did you do CDs too?
We did, but the CD version has an extra song.
Yeah, I think in my mind it was always going to be vinyl. I mean, I wasn't really interested in doing anything else.
There was this guy, Zach, who kind of, while we were putting the record together, like a few weeks into it, put up a post on Facebook that just says, I want to put out records by guys like Amos, Pitsch, and Walt Hamburger. And that's how we got with, I mean, that was literally what, I didn't think I had met him yet. He probably was at a show or something, but...
Yeah, he had a label called Plant Music Record
he was
Company.
just starting it. Like, we were...
Well,
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, he had one way back.
yeah, in the '90s, it was a techno and house label that was pretty popular. Yeah.
So he's revisiting that, and we were just like, hey, cool. We got a thing, actually. And,
Yeah.
How did the CDs sell versus the vinyl?
well, the vinyl's gone.
Yeah.
Somehow.
50,000 copies, and they're sold out. We can't sell them anymore. I know I sold quite a bit on tour, but I think a lot of them, the label just traded for other records or sold, or they're in stores somewhere, but we don't have access to them anymore. I don't know the numbers for
No,
the
I
CDs.
think the CD story was, I think once it came out, and we were, at least I was pouring over all of the power pop Facebook groups and pages, and submitting the record and say, hey guys, listen to this, whatever, and we were getting some favorable comments and feedback and getting added to some playlists and stuff like that. Then and I stumbled onto this Cool Cat Records, and I got a hold of him and said, well, he said, yeah, I'll put it out, but you need 10 songs. I owe that to my customers. I'm not going to put out anything. So then we decided, well, what are we going to do? And I asked these guys, well, you guys want to do one more song? And then it would entail remastering. So we got together, and we decided to just do an acoustic version of one of the songs. So
Featuring Ridley Tankersley on the
Yeah,
bass. Third bassist.
First time commenter.
First time commenter, yeah. Wait, first time
Oh yeah, he was in the.
Was he a first time commenter?
That's what he said. I
Oh.
think.
He said unless
Oh,
it was
all right.
fibbing.
All right.
I don't know. 25 minutes, a little over 25 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
For the 9-song version. So what's
Pretty
the
good.
perfect song length to you guys?
Song length?
Yes.
Oh.
2.5 to 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
yeah, I
I was
think
gonna
so.
say 250.
Yeah, just under 3.
Ramones
Or if
length.
if it's a faster song, then maybe 2 minutes. All was pretty good. That song's 1 second long.
Yeah. That's a good song.
It's good. It gets to the point.
So on the next album, we can expect song
Yes.
lengths of about the same thing.
Oh no, actually, no. Well, so far I don't know.
I think they're shorter.
I think they're longer. They feel longer. They're not as good.
There's one long
We're
one.
trying.
You know how like sophomore, so like your first album, your first major release, like ours, our first major mega hit thing. You know, you've got 10 years, 15 years of songs. The second one, he's like, well, here's the turds that got left behind.
Is that what it's made up of? A lot of leftover songs from the first?
No.
I have no idea. No,
actually,
Jason doesn't. He was
no.
showing us the songs one by one mostly, right? So I think we just got to the end the first time, and he still had.
I think they
Plenty
just
more.
graciously did whatever ones came up.
I thought.
Which is why we had a couple left over, but this time
What
I
was
think
the second one we had left
more
over?
selective.
We must have gave up on that one pretty quick.
But I've got some more demos I'm going to submit to these guys, and maybe we'll light a little bit of fire for everyone. I don't know.
This next one's our Pinkerton.
Weezer reference there.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like beloved, but
If there's a Zach out there that wants to put it out, we're open. That might be the
holy shit.
the thing we need.
So I had a comment, and I think it's right.
Uh-oh.
Ridley said my mic is not working, but that's just
Oh,
how it
no.
goes.
Well, Ridley is a really helpful guy.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate.
Wait,
that.
this whole time though?
I don't think the whole time. But so, anyways, you guys might
Start
have to
over.
repeat what I say. How many shows did you guys do? How many live shows?
He asked us how many shows do we do? How many live shows?
Too many.
As a full band, we have yet to do a live show. We did we were billed at an acoustic version of us once at the library when they did our. What the hell was
That was
that?
probably Walt's idea.
Well, I got money.
Yeah, I mean, we've had offers, but we didn't ever set out to be that type of group. So.
I think we've all talked about at some point doing a small, local, huge show.
So that
You didn't. Oh, yikes.
you did one show at the library.
So we did one show at the library, and you were there, and I remember I identified your twinness right immediately, and you guys were both impressed, and then immediately didn't know which was which again. And then Bill and I did something together for the Nashville thing, but I don't remember. I think we played one of your songs, but
Oh yeah.
that wasn't really. I don't know. This other Jason here is very busy with his side projects. So it makes it tough. Do you want to? I mean, I'm not really using this. Take mine. Screaming. I enjoyed that, but I think we should all scream. I don't know. To answer your question, like Amos, like
He asked.
But so the library show, did it go well? Because it was
You
all
were there.
four. Yeah, but it wasn't all four of you, was it? Wasn't it just you and Jason?
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It was like we've never, as a full group.
great.
I don't even know what a full group looks like.
But they did put the
This, I
record
guess.
into the library database.
That's right. We're in the database. I think we will someday, when we're as irrelevant as we possibly could be. When it matters the least amount, we'll get together and play on the rooftop of some bar Beatles style.
If
My dead dog's birthday tomorrow. All day.
if Mile of Music asked you guys to play, would you do it
Oh,
as
well,
Car
that's my
City?
old music.
Probably not. I don't know.
I think, the main issue is logistically between the four of us, how we'd recreate the sounds of the record. We'd need at least one more person, probably, and
Maybe.
enough rehearsal to figure out how to fill that much space. So I think that's the biggest hurdle is finding time to do it well, I think, live. So
The sad part is, I really do think, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm going to do it. He had so much fun playing. Like, the studio time was a blast. I think if we had the means, we would play more together, but we don't have the means.
The means being time.
Yeah, I have a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Walt said earlier, it's Amos' studio, so he can decide
And
when he
Julia's.
has time, and Julia's,
Julia Blair.
and he can decide when he has time and when he has energy to do it. And so
Yeah. So does that make the recording process easier with you owning the studio
And Julia.
so you don't have to take as much. You don't have to rush out of there. But it also puts you in a more tough spot because you're the guy responsible
Not
for
making
working.
any money on his studio because he's working at Car City.
Yeah, we just spend a lot more time that way, and I don't know if it makes it better, but
It made it better this time.
I think it made that first record better for sure.
It might
But
be. I think if we had to book studio time, we'd probably be more prompt on getting on this next record that we've been working on for 6 years now. But think of how great it's going to be. 6 years in the making.
Do you guys have a target date for it to be released?
I think we were talking about next Tuesday.
Already.
At the
Or at
Tom's
least in
Drive-In.
time for the 10-year anniversary of the first one. I could kind of do like a package deal.
the Tom's Driving. Tom's Driving release show next Tuesday.
Are you guys going to do the surprise release where all of a sudden it's just out there?
Like the Christmas
I
record.
like that.
Your
Do you
face.
want to
think
talk
we'll
about
have
the
it-
time that Facebook had problems
We'll have it leaked maybe.
and you got mad at me for taking down one of your posts, but I didn't actually take down the post? Do you remember that?
Kind
That's as
of.
mad as he's ever been at me, and it wasn't my fault. It was Facebook's fault. Facebook just like took down some of our posts for like a day, and I'm driving with my family in a car
it was,
in Wisconsin on the way to Viroqua.
I think I thanked somebody for like giving us a shout out and like, hey, this Car City is really good.
Jason
And then-
put up some amazing
And then he took
posts.
it down, and I was like,
I didn't take it down. You still think I took
When
it
you-
down? How did it get back up with the original date?
I don't know.
The Facebook page is fun. You should go like Car City on Facebook. I don't know who's posting, but it's all kind of like, it's all sort of self-depreciating comments and humor. It's good
And
stuff.
lies, yeah.
So who's the primary person? It's Walt behind the
Pretty much.
behind the Car City page.
If it's a serious post about how happy we were to be on a playlist, it's Jason. If it's anything else, it's me.
Jason, do you get frustrated that all these guys are in other projects and like this is your main project, and so they're just like, well, except for Bill because he doesn't say much.
No.
But I mean, like
Whoa.
but I just mean
This is a
as far as like the joking stuff, like these guys, like to them, it's kind of they have these other projects and it's kind of joking about this one in a sincere out of love. But do you ever get kind of angry? Like this is my main thing, and I like with Walt when he posted the bad Facebook comment and didn't take it down after you asked him to. Does
Which
that
one?
kind-
What? I'll say this. I think the four of us are huge fans of this project, and we really are proud of it. Like, really proud of it.
No, I don't get frustrated at all. I'm just glad that there still continues to be interest and we have fun and get together. And even if it's just breakfast or whatever, we can hang out and talk about it. It makes me feel like when we first got together, or when I first got together doing bands with people, I mean, like just talk about what could be, and it's just fun to talk about a band, That's kind of low pressure.
And it was like these songs sound great live when you and Walt would play them together. Like it would be great to see the whole band doing a whole show of these tunes. But
Yep.
It would be fun, but my nightmare is we would have technical difficulties, and it wouldn't.
Like the
wouldn't
podcast?
I know nothing about technical
like
difficulties on this show.
The joke is that McNamara's having a rough one, in case you guys are wondering.
Well, would you guys consider maybe playing at the bowling alley? Dusk and Zebra Muscle and the Present Age were there, and that was a good show. And I don't know if they've had too much.
Yeah, we could probably
there
pack
since
that
then.
place, huh?
The bowling alley?
Yeah.
That's right up our
show.
alley.
That would be cool. Yeah.
That'd be a strike.
I don't know if they're doing shows there super often. I'm not exactly sure what their plan was, because I feel like that room was maybe sort of in transition. They were still like putting it together. It was looking really nice, but I don't know if they're going to put a PA in there or not, or what their deal is. But yeah, that'd be cool.
And as far as this kind of thing with interviews, are you guys gonna, when the next album comes out, do more of this kind of thing?
This is the beginning of our press tour. We're just running real slow. Real slow.
Are there bands in the area besides ones that you're in that you'd like to maybe suggest for people to check out?
No, there's nobody good.
There was a show at 602 yesterday that...
Dick Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Richard Dick. But Richard, Crutch of Memory presents.
There's a band called Stidge that played last night at 602 Club. They were pretty cool. Couple young guys. They go to Lawrence. Awesome.
Steve McCabe's got a new thing he's doing out of his new studio. I think.
Bird and Air. I
Yeah,
think it's called.
it was Bird and something. I can't remember. But yeah, I think he just did it last week or 2 weeks ago. It just came out.
He's going to be here next week to
Oh,
talk
really?
about that
Cool.
project.
Yeah, he's got his own little studio going on, and it's pretty cool. So I think he's getting close to being able to track some stuff. So, but yeah,
As far as Car City playing with other bands, would you guys choose which band? If you're actually going to go through the trouble of getting together, would it have to be a pretty stellar lineup to get you guys to go through the motions of rehearsing a live set?
Yeah, they're going to have to beg us with something good.
Yeah. Some sandwiches, probably. Pizza. I haven't put that much thought into that close. That's how close we are to. I think if we did it, it would just be like a Tuesday Stone Arch session or something where 3 people would show up. You'd be there.
I'd be there. Tony would be there.
Eric Kern would be there. Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, like Bill was saying, we'd have to have another member because you're
wouldn't
drummer,
have
lead
to.
guitar player, play the organ. I mean, so
I feel like I would probably just play organ.
Can you give me a little bit more about the next album? I feel like it's not a whole lot's been said about the next album besides the songs are different, besides the songs are like the same length.
I've derailed it a lot, right?
we have like 10 songs that are workable.
We probably got
And
the
we
songs on your phone.
sort of pared it down to, I think we had talked about an EP at one point.
Yeah,
the songs
5
I
songs.
felt good about, but I got some more demos. And
It's
I'm
our
gonna
Pinkerton.
Entice these guys with
Me,
those,
oh,
but
'cause I'm on Car City.
I hope
think,
it's not our Pinkerton.
a couple of them were a little
Okay.
too maybe Weezer-like, or
I love Weezer.
Yeah, we just great. What are you talking about?
So it might be more of a, not heavier, but more of a.
I think we definitely go for heavier
Yeah.
on the guitars.
Yep.
We,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have a question here. This is Julia, presumed co-owner of the studio. Congrats on the album. Congrats on the album and the interview. And this one is for Walt. What is your favorite instrument?
Oh, that's tough. Favorite instrument?
Keep it clean.
How did I screw that one up?
Wow, only Julia could get Walt to actually think really hard about like what he's about to say.
That is devastating.
He's turning red. He's turning red.
it's trombone.
You know,
for
the
sure.
one that makes me the happiest I hear in a song is like that awesome like first or second album of Snuff organ. That makes me the happiest. You know, like
Snuff. Wait, Snuff. What's Snuff organ?
Snuff the band.
Oh, never listened to him.
What was the easiest song on the Car City album to record? What was the hardest?
Like a Wave was the easiest.
That was the first, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one like where you put the double track guitar solo in.
Is it?
They're all double checked.
But what
It's
about
hard to
the what,
remember.
what about the swell on the end? Was that?
I don't know
That
if like
took a
That was the
while.
Marsona 1200.
Like a Wave was when we realized that this was going to be good. Like a Wave was when we're like, oh, this not only are these a good songs.
So we immediately knew this was going to be amazing.
That's what I'm worried about with the second record.
Yeah.
I think the easiest probably was "Don't Give Up on Love" because it was a song that we brought.
Yeah, but we had Tim there for that, so we were playing with a new bass player. So like by default, it wasn't as easy as like session 3. That's hard to say. Connecting the dots came together really easily. What about the Asshole song?
Yeah.
But then like when I listen to the record, it's like it's always like track 4 and 5, the bridge and Hangman, that like I'm like these are like the like if I was just listening to this record, these would be the ones that I would like make sure are on a playlist or something because they're shorter but they're long, they're rock and roll but they're ballads, they're quiet and loud and there's smells, and you know.
I think "Soul Jam," the last song, which is everyone's favorite song title.
Do you remember the review Norb gave us?
That was like the newest song.
Yeah.
That.
So Reverend Norb gave us this really wrong review where he said that
I thought it was good.
He said that whoever sequences the album got it backwards, and all the good songs were on the back, and the bad songs were in the front. And
Yeah, but Soul Jam is like the best song.
Soul Jam's fine. I've come along to it. I just wish I knew what it was about. The first half of the record is definitely better than the second half of the record. Like, there's a couple songs on there about his. Well, I don't want to say what they're about. I almost did.
What's Soul Jam about, Jason? Since you're sitting here,
Soul Jam was.
This is the phrase specifically he wants to know.
I like to take like
Finally.
cliches or like well-known sayings and kind of flip them. Like I can't remember the lyrics right now, but I think it wasn't really meant to mean a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you. Soul Jam. It rhymes. I liked singing it.
Soul Jam rhymes?
It had that was, I think it was the ending that made me, I don't know why, I just liked it, the song
So
ending that way.
wait. 6 years, you wouldn't tell me what that's about? It's because you don't know what it's about? It's because there's no answer?
It's awesome. It really is.
Where are you grabbing inspiration for a lot of the songs you're writing? Because there's a lot about relationships. And
Yeah.
are you making up stuff or like?
You're not always writing
I
from
don't-
first person.
no,
I should
I
make that
don't.
clear, right? Like sometimes he'll say me in a song, but he's not talking about himself. He's talking about someone he knows.
Yeah, I don't usually write from first
Like
person.
say the song about asshole. That's about me.
Is that true?
No,
Yes, it is.
it was. Do you want me to tell you? Okay, so it was loosely based. It was what's going on?
Nothing. Just
Getting some lights going.
No, hopeless, which he's calling asshole. No, Walt had sent something to me one time. It always kind of stuck with me about a relationship he was in, where he said, "I think I'm subconsciously trying to end this relationship by being an asshole."
I don't remember saying that.
It kind of stuck with me,
I remember saying I was an asshole.
and that became kind of the basis of the song. But not that you were an asshole at the time, maybe.
Bill hasn't talked in 20 minutes.
Where would I fit that in?
I don't know. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay, well, let's keep bringing it up then.
So yeah,
It's my fault, is what I'm saying. Look,
That's
we're having
also
a
what
fight.
I'm saying. So.
Yeah. All right, good.
so does it seem like "Don't Give Up on Love" is the song that everybody knows from Car City? What do you say?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
everyone.
When people buy an album or a CD, do you make a mental note to circle back in a week and say, "Hey, what was your favorite song on the album?" to see if they actually listen to it?
No.
It's the one with the stars on it in Apple Music. So,
Really?
I think it is the highest played song on Spotify, actually. I saw that today.
It's a catchy song.
I don't know.
It's
I
a
would say
great song.
that song, Hopeless, and Connecting the Dots were the ones that I thought were the catchiest at first. Like a Wave, Soul Jam, Bridge, Hangman, those are all the ones that I...
Connecting the Dots got played a lot because it was the first song, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe they never listened past that. But
There is an obvious Man Hands version of "Don't Give Up on Love" that's recorded. Justin Perkins recorded it.
Is that out anywhere?
2005 or
we need to
something.
find that. Yeah.
MySpace? Remember when they lost all the music?
Yeah, all of a sudden everything was gone. You couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So that was the only place.
So
I had it on my phone, but
well,
yeah.
it was originally supposed to be a 7-inch split with my high school band, but
Social Classics.
yeah, Walt took my money and
I brought it. You got it back.
then he gave it back a long time after that. But he took my money and then it disappeared, and then like years later he gave it back. And the record didn't come out.
Sounds way worse than it was.
He still has our money.
What? Actually, this is a real question. Who gets the royalties
I mean, I was being true, but
for us?
anyway,
The studio, obviously.
we don't have.
We're still in
we don't
debt.
have any royalties.
Well, we must get something from something.
No,
Who gets the
we
Spotify
don't
money?
get enough plays.
What about the CDs? You get money for that?
We did.
Wait, how does money work?
We did, which we split up.
I was so worried that I was going to talk too much, and then I did.
Yep.
I didn't want to. I'm not interesting.
How do you guys feel about the scene in Appleton?
It's bad.
I'll tell you, there's a good scene seemingly starting in Green Bay again, with At the Tracks, and the Charlton is starting to book more shows. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
Well, they got 2 dedicated bookers up there, the Toms, so that helps a lot.
And of course, the record store, GBUFO, is having shows. So,
Yeah.
It's
Walt,
encouraging,
Walt
very
hates
encouraging.
Dusk.
No, I don't hate that.
Yeah, he thinks we sound like the Grateful Dead, and he does not like the Grateful Dead.
I do not like the Grateful Dead. I do think there was a couple songs
I wouldn't
that
say
you're
Grateful
like,
Dead.
Yeah.
what's
Very-
going on
I would
right now?
say-
Everybody's mad at me.
I would say more Stones like.
Are there
I like
any?
Stones.
Are there any Bills bands you don't like, Walt?
Current?
He's paying attention very closely.
Not even look. No, Bill's fantastic. That's why we brought him in.
Nice, and of course you've heard Zebra Muscle
No.
before. Oh,
I've seen the name.
they're good. You should check them out.
They're new, and then there's that Spy versus Spy, right?
Yeah, we haven't really played very much. They've been kind of taking a break there because most of that band's in Redshift Headlights. They're recording at Electrical Audio right now, actually.
The second?
Yeah, they're with Albini today.
Yesterday and today.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they've been doing a lot of that stuff lately. So
I don't listen to anything though. I mean, I haven't listened to the new Dusk record all the way through, other than what he
Maybe you should.
listened to in the studio. So I heard it all when it was being made, but I haven't listened to it finished.
Do you guys think it would be good to maybe record a future album at a different studio so you didn't have to do all the knob twisting,
No, that sounds
fader
horrible.
pushing?
Yeah. Where would we even go? We don't have any money.
Yeah, it would cost too much money.
I don't know if people understand how much it costs to record. I mean, if you're at any kind of real studio, an hour is out of my range.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's a lot more studios opening up in the Fox cities? We've had Rock Garden for a while. There's the Honeytone now and Source Tracks Studio. Or
Wait, what's that? What's that?
Source Tracks. I don't know if they're out of Menasha or Nina.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you
I
feel
don't
there's
know.
more
I don't
studios
really
popping up?
network with other studio people, not on purpose, but I'm just not aware, I think.
We're kind of loners.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yes.
If somebody asked, can you explain Car City to me? What kind of music is it? I never heard them. How would you describe Car City to them?
I guess when we were making it, it was like we wanted it to be like crunchy pop songs with like a softness to it, which is why we recorded like acoustic guitars and kind of blended them into the electric guitars, and but wanted it to sound kind of punk. So the recording sound really kind of messed up, like blown out punk style. And that's what I think makes it unique in a way. It's not. It doesn't sound like we went about it the way you're supposed to, in a way.
I never. So what do you mean by the way you're supposed to? Like, we want to sound like this band?
Or something. It just doesn't sound like it was recorded by the book.
Well, that's what I liked about it, and all the favorite projects that I've had in my life. Like, one thing I really liked about my band, the Hamburgers, way back in the day, was that the three of us had totally different musical influences, and so whether or not that came out with good records or whatever, it was interesting in the songwriting process because you got a guy who loves the Beach Boys, you got a guy who loves '60s rock and roll, and you got a guy who likes the '90s skate punk, bringing these different ideas together. And like, I think that you had really good. He's an incredible vocalist, and he had some. I really like most of the lyrics you had, and I usually don't like anybody's lyrics unless they're really good. So like, he had great start, and then Bill came in and added his parts, and and then we added just little things in between in the production stuff that made the songs more interesting if they needed it at a certain part. But like, it was I don't want to overuse the word, but it really did feel kind of organic. Like, we had an idea of what maybe you were trying to do, and then made it our own thing, but with very different influences along the way.
Really looking forward to the next album whenever it comes out, because it sounds like it's still kind of in the air. But I look forward to that day where I log into Facebook or something and see that all of a sudden it's just out. So, can we expect vinyl on the next release as well, or is
I
that
hope so? Yeah,
If we can find the right
I would
sack,
want to.
right?
Yeah, if we can find the right Zach, you might be able to expect.
If there's a Zach out there.
Yeah, if there's a Zach out there, give us a call.